What's up, guys? Rick here with your betting and one and done preview for this week's RSM Classic. But before we get into that, this is your once a year opportunity to get a discounted subscription to RickRunGood.com. That's right. If you've ever been thinking about signing up, now is the time. But you have to bet me for it. So here's how this works. The once a year promo. If you sign up for a 6-month or a yearly membership right now, and you do it before the RSM Classic starts, whatever the winning score is for the RSM Classic, I will refund you that percentage back. So if the winning score is 20 under par, 20% of your membership is coming back to you. If it's 11 under par, 11% is coming back. If it's 25 under, 25% is coming back. That's how it works. You've got to bet me for it. And as you guys know, I don't do discounts, promo codes, anything throughout the year because I think the service is very fairly priced. So this is your one crack at it for new and existing members. If you're an existing member, and if you're a new member, you have to do the same thing. You go to RickRunGood.com/RSM promo. There will be a link in the description. You'll see one of two options for the RSM promo. It's either 6 months or a year. If you're an existing member, choose whichever one you want, and your current subscription will be added on to the end of this promotion, so you won't lose anything there. And then new subscribers are just going to sign up and get the benefits as I discussed. So there you have it. One crack at it. Good luck. Rooting for you, but also rooting against you, depending on what this winning score ends up being. Good luck. RickRunGood.com/RSM promo. Here is the tournament predictor tool on RickRunGood.com. This is a tool that simulates the results of the event 1,000 times, compares it to the odds at each of 5 major sports books, and we see if there is any value. Scotty Scheffler, to probably no one's surprise, won the simulation the most, 6.5% of the time. It's a pretty small number, quite frankly. Sometimes we see the leader in the sim results win it 7, 8, 9, 10. Some events with some stars, 11% of the time. Scotty Scheffler, 6.5%, which means this thing is fairly wide open. 72 different golfers won the simulation at least one time. That's half the field. That's a pretty huge number, but Scotty Scheffler leads the way at 6.5%. The problem is that's not enough. Basically, his odds 10 to 1, 12 to 1, 14 to 1. The best line available is at FanDuel. They're still too short. FanDuel is very close to a fair result, but there's really not a lot of juice to squeeze out of Scotty Scheffler at the moment, and it makes sense, right? I mean, he's coming in with 2 really close calls in his last 2 starts. He's played here once. He's played well. It should be a good spot for him. He should contend, but the value for me is probably not there. I mean, Scotty Scheffler has contended at major championships. Do we need to do the Scotty Scheffler golfer profile here to see the types of events that he's contended at? Let's see. 8th at the Open Championship, 3rd at the Memorial. Let's see what else we've got here. 5th at a WGC event, 2nd at the Match Play, 5th at the Tour Championship, 4th at the PGA, 4th at the Northern Trust. Do we need to take the short odds on him here when he's going to probably contend and win events in much deeper fields where he's going to be like 35 to 1? So I'll pass on Scotty. If he wins in Burnsby, I'll tip my cap. I'll say congratulations, but I don't think it's a number that we can necessarily bet. A couple of surprises coming in 2nd and 3rd place for the RSM simulation results. Harris English won this 5.1% of the time, and Russell Henley won it 4.8%. Probably no surprise on Henley. He's someone that we talked about ad nauseum last week. He almost got the job done, finished inside the top 10. He's been playing beautifully. The approach play is phenomenal. Bermuda is his best putting surface. Really, almost any way you want to kind of shape this up, Russell Henley becomes a fairly good option, and the simulation certainly agrees. Harris English, on the other hand, is probably a name that we haven't thought about in a while, right? He missed the cut at Shriners, withdrew, I believe, on Saturday, so after 2 rounds at Summit Club, at the CJ Cup, and that's been his season. That's it. That's all he's done this season, those two events. So he hasn't found the weekend yet. And I think that's probably keeping people off of him. But the simulation, it looks at a lot of longer term results, longer term skill sets, volatility in both directions. So you can see we're really only 5 starts removed from his 4th at the WGC. We're 6 starts removed or 7 starts removed from his win at the Travelers, from his 3rd at the U.S. Open. So that's what is definitely pushing Harris English in a positive direction here. I'm not super sure I'm ready to pull the trigger on that. 30-1 is the best number available. That's at BetMGM. Russell Henley's best number available, 31. That's at FanDuel. I was hoping to catch a longer number on Webb Simpson. Simpson is someone that I will likely be very bullish on this year. However, I will probably take a little bit of a contrarian approach when betting outrights on Webb, because Webb has these 4 to 6 really good spots for him every single year. And when we get to those spots, Wyndham, RSM, Phoenix will be a little bit longer because they'll get a better field there, but he's going to be like 12-1 or 14-1, and it stinks. And what I'll probably choose to do on Webb, because I'm so bullish on him, because I'm so excited about him, is play him in some of the off-Webb weeks, or outright him in some of the off-Webb weeks where we get him at 30, where I think he can win and contend anyway. So we'll see as these numbers evolve over the course of the next 6 months or so, but probably can't pull the trigger on Webb Simpson either. And before I actually give you the guys that I like, Kevin Kisner's hanging here. And Kevin Kisner is, to me, the most fascinating golfer on the slate. We're just a handful of starts removed from his win at the Wyndham. He's been terrible since then. He's been phenomenal at this event over the course of his career. 40-1 is the best number available at PointsBet. There is an argument in the same way that we found victory with Jason Kokrak last week, we could extend that to Kevin Kisner this week and say, well, course fit / course history is exceptional. Recent form is terrible. Let's just figure out if he can flip the switch or not. And that worked out very well for Jason Kokrak last week in Houston. Will it work out again for Kisner this week? I'm not as... I've flipped on this every single day of the week. I think at current moments, I'm like a 4 out of 10 in terms of excitement. If 5 is average, there have been, for every pro for Kevin Kisner, there is a con to offset it. There are some years he has shown up at the RSM Classic with 0 form and contended. There are some years that he has shown up in great form, hasn't contended. There are things that you could point out in the putting that scare me, but there are things that you could point out in the putting that look great. I've never probably been so on the fence about a golfer. I will likely take the approach of making a smaller than usual FOMO outright on Kisner and moving on with my life. It'll be, if I would normally put a unit or whatever, like a half a unit or a quarter of a unit, just to wet my whistle, because I'm so confused about this and I want to see the way that everything shakes out. Now, excuse me, the way my card will probably look, it'll probably start with Corey Connors, who you can get at 25-1 at Caesars, 27-1 at FanDuel. Corey Connors, to me, is he might be the best player in the field. That's probably an exaggeration. He's not the best player in the field, but he's been great, right? He piles up top 25s. He's excellent on approach. He's excellent off the tee. What I will also ensure that I do with Corey Connors is back this up with a top 10, because we know Corey Connors lives inside the top 20. He has one PGA Tour victory, right? A couple of years ago at Valero. So I will absolutely back this up with a top 10 wager. And I think you're still getting a good enough price on Connors at 27 or 25 to be able to back it up with a top 10. And quite frankly, my card is probably going to start with 2 Canadians. It's probably going to be Connors and Mackenzie Hughes. Hughes has won this event before. He's much longer, 65-1 at FanDuel, 60 at PointsBet, even 55 at Caesars. All viable numbers. Doesn't miss a lot of cuts. He is kind of a short game specialist. This is really the one spot that you would think probably for for a while. Maybe when we get to American Express, that will be okay. But we're going to get into a stretch of golf for Hughes that's not necessarily a great fit for him. So I'm happy to kind of bid him farewell and say, okay, one more bite at the apple here for you, Mackenzie Hughes. And then I'm likely to just start with 2 Canadians and sprinkle 80, 90, 100 to 1 guys. Now, those guys are likely to be Patrick Rodgers, who is, according to the simulation results, the best value available. 80 to 1 at DraftKings, 90 at FanDuel, 66 to 1 at BetMGM. So you are going to want to shop this. If you haven't signed up for one of those accounts, you can go to RickRunGood.com/bets and see what the current available offers are in your state. A lot of them are pretty good. Rodgers is like embrace all volatility type of guy. That's what I love. I want Rodgers at 80. I want Luke List Luke List number 90 to 1 in some places, 80 to 1 at Caesars. These are highly volatile golfers who are just as likely to finish inside the top 20 as miss the cut, but that's what we're embracing this week. So I would probably just fire sprinkles on Rodgers, Luke List, Aaron Rye, who's been playing much better, Denny McCarthy at 130 to 1, even Andrew Landry at 100 or 125 to 1. Just sprinkles on all of these guys. The Denny McCarthy thing is actually pretty interesting. He was hot fire. We played him last week, bet him last week. We're gonna have to bet him again because played great on Sunday, which is now 3 really good events in a row. Still on Bermuda. Shorter course that he should be able to take advantage of. We got to roll out Denny one more time. So 2 Canadians and sprinkle on 5 or 6 guys that are probably 80 to 1 or longer. That's the strategy that I will be using this week. Now, when it comes to head-to-head matchups, let's see if we can find some that are really off, and I've already found one here. So DraftKings has Corey Connors versus Russell Henley, and this is the head-to-head matchup tool on RickRunGood.com. You can plug in any 2 golfers for any time period that you want and see the likelihood that one beats another in a 4-round matchup. Well, this is what I'm talking about when we're at Corey Connors fatigue, okay? Corey Connors is plus 100, even money, to Russell Henley's minus 120 on DraftKings. So Henley's the favorite. I have Connors winning this matchup 67% of the time. He should be minus 210. He's even money. He's the dog. He should be a significant favorite. That is probably one of the larger discrepancies that we've seen in the last couple of months, to go from being even money to you should probably be minus 210 in a matchup of 2 golfers that we have a lot of data on. This is the Corey Connors fatigue, where he just top 20s everything and doesn't win. So everyone kind of forgets how good he is, while Henley has these little spurts, right? 54-hole co-leader at the U.S. Open and played well again last week, and we haven't seen Corey Connors in over a month. This is seemingly a very, very wrong number. So the Corey Connors side, most certainly the side. I don't know if I should be terrified by this or not, but it appears that DraftKings is hanging some horrendous numbers. I shouldn't even say numbers. I should say matchups, which scares me because usually the model is very similar to the lines, which tells you you're doing something right. They have Max Homa minus 110 over Matt Kuchar. Let that sink in. The pure disrespect for Max Homa, who is 2 starts removed from victory, to go up against Matt Kuchar. I have Homa winning this a staggering 74% of the time, minus 295. Again, I just said that Connors over Henley was probably the biggest discrepancy we've ever seen, to be bested by this one right here. This is now the largest discrepancy I've probably ever seen, and both of them coming in the same week. Are the numbers wrong? Is DraftKings doing something crazy right now? Well, we're going to find out. So I'll bet both of these. Excuse me. But Max Homa is, at this point in their careers, a significantly better golfer than Matt Kuchar. I understand Kuchar's been generally pretty good at the RSM Classic. This is one of the better spots for him, but this is way off. Now, this one I'll run together. I'm fascinated by this one because Cam Smith is also pretty well disrespected, I believe, by books. So DraftKings has Scotty Scheffler at minus 140, pretty big number, to Cam Smith's plus 115. I gotta know here. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So I've got this much closer to even. I have Scheffler winning at 52% of the time, minus 111. Cam Smith winning at 47% of the time, plus 111. So there's no juice there. So the Cam Smith number. So these are probably pretty close. I would definitely lean the Cam Smith side, but it's probably a no bet considering the other ones that we've seen. So you can go through and you can plug in all of these that you want, and you can, determine what's best for you. But let's talk about one and done real quick, because I know a lot of you are in one and done leagues, and some of them are actually ending this week if you did like a fall only type of thing. But there's a couple of reasonable options. The obvious option is probably Webb Simpson, right? That's the course fit kind of play that you would want to make here is Webb Simpson at the top. He's 12-1. He's got the second shortest odds in the field. He's been great at this event. I'll probably just roll out. So the way that I'll do this is I'll probably do one of two things. Scotty Scheffler or Corey Connors. So we've talked about both of them. We've talked about Corey Connors. There's no reason to rehash all of that. The argument for Scotty this week is you are getting a guy in great form. The third week for a player is usually a very valuable week, right? You start to get into the groove. Sometimes first week you got to shake the rust off. Second week you start to find it. Third week is when you really get after it. And we've seen him contend now for each of the last 2 weeks. Now, the only concern would be, do we want to save Scotty? Realistically, Scotty can contend at majors. I believe that. But realistically, when you get to a major, you're not going to play Scotty. You're just not. Would you roll him out early next year at maybe, like, what's he going to play? Is he going to play American Express? Is he going to play Phoenix? Would you feel comfortable rolling him out there? Probably not. Would you feel comfortable when we get to Texas in the summer? Feels like a long time away. Like, we don't know what his form's going to be then. I'd rather just use him now. So I believe he's the front runner for my one and done selection. Other options, Corey Connors. I would just live at the top. Live at the top with one of those guys. There's no reason to go too far down. Kisner will be popular. That feels a little bit risky to me. I don't think you have to do that. I think you're just trying to prove you're the smartest guy in the room if you do that. But otherwise, that'll do it. Don't forget, RickRunGood.com/RSM promo. That is the one opportunity a year to get a discounted membership to RickRunGood.com, but you have to bet me for it. Otherwise, tweet me at RickRunGood. Let me know what you think. Let me know who you're playing or who you're betting this week, and leave a comment below. Best of luck, and I'll talk to you guys soon.